Well, drinking a couple glasses of wine can rack up the calories as much as a hamburger, but it doesn't mean you have to skip it. Sommelier Steeves is here with some calorie-conscious tips to keep in mind so you can still enjoy your glass of vino. Words I like to hear. I don't think I could go without that glass of wine sometimes.
Exactly.
So first of all, let's start. What's the range of calories for a glass of wine?
Good question, Melissa. So you're talking about like 100 calories up to maybe 300 calories.
Ooh, that's quite a range.
But it depends on the style of wine you're enjoying and the size of the glass, right?
Okay.
So I've got a 4 ounce, a 5 ounce, 6 ounce glass. You can see there's slight differences.
Mm-hmm.
Some people could have an 8 ounce glass. So there's about 25, 26 ounzes in a bottle.
As much as a hamburger, though?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
scary.
right. In some of these wines, there are as much calories as a hamburger, so it's good to be mindful of that.
Okay.
Right?
And you brought in some examples of kind of how much a glass of wine would be compared to some food.
Exact. So these three little things, you know, two little two-bite brownies, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 3 little 90% dark chocolate. Those each have about the same amount as, say, this one here, a glass of Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
Each of those has that same amount. So really, when you look at it that way, wine isn't that bad. Okay?
It really isn't. That's what I like to hear. News that I live by. Okay, let's start with, these are the drier wines. So these have a little bit less calories?
That's right. So what's important to know is that where calories come from is the alcohol content largely. So yeah, please go for it.
Don't mind if I do.
Yes, thank you. So what I've poured today for us is 2 Ontario wines, a dry Pinot Noir, which is very low in calories, so about 150 for that big glass.
That's quite nice,
from
too.
ROSEWOOD. Yeah, it's a beautiful wine. And then we've got a dry Riesling from Angel's Gate, also in Niagara region.
I also like that one.
Yeah,
Shocking.
very nice. And that's really low. It's about 135 calories for a big glass. So
that's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
And a Riesling, I thought that was a sweeter wine.
Well, it can be produced in all sorts of styles, from really sweet to very dry. This is a dry style, which is terrific for food pairing.
So 150 and about 135. And is that for a 6 ounce glass?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's not that bad.
It's
still
not bad
easy
at
to
all.
enjoy. You know, just maybe skip an extra piece of chocolate and go for the glass of wine.
That's right.
These are the sweeter wines?
Yeah, exactly. So these are not dessert wines, but they are sweeter because they. This one here, the CUPCAKE.
I'm very familiar with this one, Matt, as I told you earlier. Pretty sure I had a glass last night.
Exactly, that's right. So very popular. It's a crowd-pleasing wine, relatively high in alcohol, and that's where you get most of the calories in wine is from the alcohol content. But there's also quite a bit of residual sugar. So that's sugar that they don't add it in. It's just left over from fermentation. They stop the ferment, so the sugar in the grapes remains. And for that reason, it has some sweetness. So it does kind of taste like a cupcake, right?
It really, it's kind of, yes, I can definitely see the resemblance.
And this one here,
it makes sense why they named it that.
You're looking at about 220 calories.
So quite a difference, 150 to 220.
That's right. So a pretty big difference. You know, we're getting into 50+% more calories. Still not a ton of calories.
Right.
If you're just going to have one glass, if you're going to have a bottle, that's a different thing.
You may have to run a few extra minutes on the treadmill,
You may have to, exactly.
And what's high alcohol content, these ones compared to these ones?
Good point. So 13.5 is generally like the medium, and anything like 14, 15, 16% alcohol, you're getting into really high. And then low alcohol is generally anything under 13, so 12, 10. Sometimes you can find German Rieslings with 7% alcohol.
Oh, wow.
Often they'll have quite a bit of residual
It's funny that I never really even look at the alcohol content. Should I be to kind of figure out the calorie content?
If you're counting calories, yes,
something to look
be
at.
Mindful of that. If you're not, don't worry about it.
Okay, so what's this last one we're going to try?
The last one is a German Riesling, and it's produced in an off-dry style. So has quite a bit of residual sugar there. You can taste that.
You can really taste it. Yeah, it's very sweet.
It's sweet. It's not a dessert wine, but it is sweet. And these are all wines that you can enjoy with food. This last one would be great with spicy Thai dishes. Anything with heat, because the sugar will really help calm down the palate and smooth out all that rough heatness, hot heat. So Yeah, it's a decent one, 175 calories, so
not bad.
Not bad.
The bottom line is, news I like to hear, you can still enjoy that glass of wine.
Absolutely.
Just some keeps to keep in mind.